Good day, everyone out there. I seriously am just not happy today, and I would like to share my experience to everyone watching me. They say forgiveness is to man, and humanity taught us forgiveness and forgiving. Now, even the Christian and Muslim taught the same thing. I can tell you, there are some things people will do to you that you will never forgive them. Talk more of forgetting. I want to share my experience with you here. Now, I'll be reading at the comment section. What is your view about this? Am I right or wrong? Now, to hell with me if I forgive my parent. To hell with me if I forgive my father. To hell with me if I forgive my mother. To hell with me for these things they've done for me. I want you to please click this link to get the full gist of what happened. Like, I can never forgive my father. I repeat again, to hell with me if I forgive my father. To hell with me if I forgive my mother. Please, let's just get chair and sit down, and let me share this experience with you about how callous my parents, those that gave birth to me, how callous they are. Click this link to watch the full gist and comment. Let me know, am I on the right decision or on the wrong decision? Thank you. Now, let's dive into the main gist. Now, this is it. So when I say I'm not going to forgive, and you see my point, and you'll be able to justify either I'm right or wrong. Now, this is it. While growing, or let me say before birth, let's accolade, because I include father, my dad, and my mom. Now, I won't forgive both of them. Now, while growing, my mom carried me in her home for a good 9 months. Fine. It's a choice. Now, while giving birth to, and I believe you know, training a child, raising up children, I believe it's something that is very easy. Something very, it's not difficult, it's not tasky. I believe it is. No, not at all. I'm also a father, so I know when we talk about raising up a kid, I know it's not something that is very, more especially a boy child. Because I know what I'm presently also facing with my children here. That is something that is very, very tasky, and it's very, very difficult. Very, very strenuous. So, she play a role and try, pay perfect attention while raising me up. And that's the reason why when I grow, I could not see any deformity in my body. You know, there are some parents that are so careless with their child, probably while doing another thing or just pressing phone, the child would have been rolling outside and roll down the staircase, and probably one of the hand might get amputated, and which might cause a permanent deformity in the life of that child. And the child will, if you grow to live by it, there's nothing it's going to do. No one to question about that. Now, my mom is kind of very, very, that means for me to still grow to this age, to be able to raise me to this age, I'm looking very cute and handsome and very, very takeaway, as you can see. That means she has really done her work in making sure that while raising me, there is no deformity that might that might dent my handsomeness when I grow. So we try our best there. And trying to feed me, this and that, you know, that was when I was a kid. And on to my father, he also, you know, contributes, you know, I'm talking about that was when I was a kid, bringing money home to make sure at least I eat. And now growing gradually to just very, very fast forward it to when I begin school from nursery section to primary section. And one thing is, throughout my schooling system, I attended a private school throughout my schooling system. So kudos to my parents for that. In private school throughout, and not that I grew from a parent that are very, very well in my family. Not that we are well, not that we are even rich, not that we are average. Very, very poor background. You should understand. And to train your children to school, not even public but private, even at the expense of you not buying clothes, at the expense of you not doing what your colleagues are doing. You just want to give all you prioritize you prioritize your need to your children. That means your children, taking care of them come first. Every other thing can follow, but your children first before any other thing. It's very, very tasky. So gradually like that, private school, I'm about to begin my nursery, also in primary school days. And as a boy child, I was very, very stubborn while I was a kid, while I was growing. Then the kind of difficulties I'm going to give to my parents. Then now on to fast forward to secondary school, when I got admitted into Remo Secondary School. And also I was on scholarship, and the scholarship was given to me from the very place my dad was working, the company was working. There was this exam. All the staff bring their children to write the exam. They're going to pick the best three, and those best three, the company will sponsor their education in form of a scholarship, meaning that there's going to be a certain amount. That's how they do it. Then there's going to be a certain amount whereby the parents will be receiving everything to be able to pay the children or that particular child's school fees. Now, and I told you why I was in public school as a then, the JS1. I went to the best public school because this school is just the best. Remo Secondary School. Those of you that are in Ogun State, precisely Shagam, I guess you understand what I mean. Very, the best Remo Secondary School. Now, but just, and that every time my parents is receiving money from where they are working to be able to pay my school fees. But unfortunately, I was going to, or let me say fortunately or unfortunately, I was going to a public school whereby they pay close to nothing. So that means the money being paid from where he was working, given to me, that's being paid as in my scholarship money, being paid to him every time to pay my school fees. So going to a public school definitely is not just going to remove part of it. You still have excess and keep. Now look at that one. Now, but just because of the strike, then I was in GSS 1. Then the strike was coming to consecutive during the Bashar era. Now my dad just decided, well, let's take this child to a private school. And when he was to take me to a private school, he took me to the best private school in Shagamu, the topmost college, the best private school. At least, should I say one of the best, if you are to pick 3 private schools in Shagamu, then I guess topmost college is going to stand out to be one of the 3 schools. And also, I was one of the pioneer students of topmost college. So the school fees was even more expensive now than the money being paid. That the money is being received timely on my own behalf. He never mind. He was satisfied adding a salary that is not even enough to feed, adding it to it. So virtually at times, my dad goes on loan, IOU every month. So at times, by the time he will be receiving his salary, at times he will receive 1,000 naira, 800, 500 naira, because overdraft. He has borrow, IOU, borrow. Meaning this, that my dad really prioritized the children wellness, prioritize the children education, prioritize the children welfare above all things. That's my parent. My parent prioritize it above all things. My parent prioritize the children education above any severity, above any party, above buying clothes. Another thing I noticed again, I could remember again, is at the end of the time, school will give a long list of books. My dad will take the long list of books to bookshop, carry me on bike, take it to bookshop. He will buy even those ones he ought not to buy. They will write the long list just for parents to just pick one out of it. But my dad is going to buy everything. I started reading novel and motivational textbooks far back when I was in secondary school, JSS 1. That was when I started reading it, because my dad would buy everything. I could remember I read Things Fall Apart while in JS1, and I could also remember some books like that. That's even some motivational books. He would buy everything. Remember, not that he's rich. No, where he's working, based on the small salary he receive, his bike, he also uses it for business. Now, while he close from work, at times 6 o'clock, at times 7 o'clock, you still have to do bike, just use it to carry people and come back home at times around 12. Return back home. At least that augments the salary he's collecting. Not for anything, but just to give up the best. Now again, when we lived then in Shagam, was a shabby house. The house wasn't decent at all. Most of my dad colleagues at work are living in a very befitting apartment, and they will be telling him, you have been paid for this where you work, housing and allowance. You're still living in this place. This place does not befit you. Papa, if this place does not befit you, we tell them, no problem. This is, if you cannot visit me here, then no problem. And my dad is even the kind of person that doesn't keep friends. He prioritizes his children education, welfare above everything. Gradually, while this was going on, even most of his friends got motivated and changed the school of their children also to private school just because of my dad. And some could not even meet up with it. They have to withdraw their children back from private school, put the children back to public school. Not only that, there are commitments my dad was doing then to just give us the best. It's not as if the salary was enough then. He prioritized our education. Even when I finished secondary school, gained admission into high institution, still do lots of, my dad don't do shopping of clothes for us or shopping of provision, but shopping of books in excess, we have it. In fact, he did all his best, even if to sell his shoes. At times, for 2-3 years at times, my dad would not buy a pair of shoes. His shoe would have even overbent and to the end of changing his leg to K-leg. Why? Not that as if the money to buy it is not available, but if we should buy it, it will be at the expense of our school fees. Wow. If we should buy it, it will be at the expense of our, that means I and my younger ones are at the expense of our welfareism. So it won't. That's the kind of parent I am. Now, tell me, should I forgive such a parent that spent so much to train? Another thing is why I even graduated, while I was working. How much am I receiving? At least when you're working, you're now a graduate, your parents should expect from you, call you, send this. My parents never for once call any child, send me money. At times, even if we buy something and give to my parents, my dad will tell you, invest in yourself first. All this that you are doing, I appreciate it, but it is not needed. Don't buy things for me for now. Invest in yourself. When the time comes for you to buy things for me, I will be the one to ask you. If I was working this and that, I'm even okay then. If I still need anything, I will still rush down to my mom, this, and she will still have, at times my mom will not have it. She will have to go and borrow just to give it to me. She will go extra length to give it to me. If I should keep talking, saying what they've done, at least I will spend the whole day and I will still not be able to finish it. And listen to this. It wasn't because they have. There are some parents that even have more than them, even in our street, that they find it hard to even train their children to school. I believe you know what I'm saying is right. There are some parents that they have this money, but to give their children the best education is a problem to them. They prefer buying clothes, doing all this for verity rather than taking care. My dad believed in something that he prioritized that his children come first, even if he's not going to buy, even if he's not going to get out. My daddy was ready to train us to not even master level, even if you want to do, while you're even doing PhD. My dad was very ready and committed. In as much as we said we want to continue studying, my dad would not hesitate to go extra length, get us money to finance that education. Now tell me, that parent, should I forgive such a parent? Should I ever forget such a parent? It's very, I don't know, should I forgive? the comment section. I will be expecting to see maybe I should forgive such a parent or not. I should forget what I've done. Now, what brought about this video is I saw a bump on a video on Facebook whereby someone was saying when you are growing, by the time you're just growing, you don't give your parents money then, not until you grow before you start giving them. Because by the time you are growing, you are taking care of the responsibility, taking responsibility of a parent. It will affect your growth. I was like, what is this world becoming? Our parents, most of our parents, not all parents, if you have a parent that really care for you, care for your education, that really care for you, you are very, very lucky. Because there are some parents that have more than your parent that could not give their children half or 1/10 of what your poor parent has given to you. My parent was so poor, but he gave us the best education. My parent was so poor. My mom will go to the essence of hawking gari, hawking pap. What? Just to give us the best. Train ourselves. My dad, same thing. We do all shift. Stress himself. On what? Just to give us the best education. If you have this kind of parents, wow, I can tell you are very, very lucky. And I'm just one of those lucky people that God gave a lovely parent. And I'm committed to them. I'm committed to them because they really suffer. I can tell you, I didn't be, at a certain time, at a certain period, you notice we are not, because, these children are not serious, getting serious the way I really want. So if I rely on these children that are not serious, it's better I quickly, if not for that, my dad would not even think of building a house. If not because I was given advice to withdraw from secondary school and my parents could not withstand the shame there in Ogun State, he would not move to Lagos. He would not even think of building house. He focused on the same thing with my mom. Now, you're not saying that such a parent should not be taken care of, well taken care of. I believe in something that I wouldn't be using an iPhone and my parents is using an Android. I wouldn't be using a car comfortably and my parents will be moving on legs, still trekking, flying bikes, all about. No. And that's the reason why my own priority, I set them first. Now, don't listen to all these fake motivational speakers online that probably their parents don't even commit much or do anything to their lives, telling you not to give your parent, not to set your parent as a priority, not to prioritize your parent first. They really suffer for you. And if you think probably you'll be rich before you do the necessary thing, what if they don't live till that time? And you now think of giving them a befitting burial. Now, I'll conclude this. Don't give your parents a befitting burial. Give your parents a befitting life. With that, you receive the blessings of God. But if you are planning to give your parents a befitting burial, while your parents are lavishing in poverty, in hunger, then it's a payback. Your children will also do that to you. Give your parents a befitting life, not a befitting burial. Thank you.